So we're going to cover degenerative disc disease today. We've done a few videos on it before, and I want you guys to stay tuned because we're going to do two really good exercises to prove it to you that degenerative disc disease is not something that's going to stay around forever. Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian and this is Don.
Hello.
We're locally world famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California.
Locally world famous. Haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. So we're going to cover degenerative disc disease today. We've done a few videos on it before, and I want you guys to stay tuned because we're going to do two really good exercises to prove it to you that degenerative disc disease is not something that's going to stay around forever. There's a couple of them we're going to do today that actually might have a pretty good impact on you today.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing, the scariest thing for people with degenerative disc disease, they think it's something they have to live with their entire life. It's a disease, it's scary, it's a part of who I am. And that's not necessarily true. We won't get into too much educational stuff in this video today. We do have separate videos for that, so feel free to take advantage of that on our YouTube channel. Just type in DDD and all of those will pop up for you. That's a resource that's free. But we're getting into, let us just prove to you that things can change and change pretty quickly for you as well. So
yeah. So which one do you want to start with first?
Let's do a hip stretch. A
hip stretch. Okay. You want me to be the demonstrator?
Sure.
Okay. How would you like me to do this hip stretch?
So
just like this?
This is perfect here. Yep. And so we're going to take you through what to try first, and then we'll kind of describe to you why we think this is working for you. But ultimately, so Sebastian, show me a bad way to do this. A lot of people want to stretch their hips, and they really try to get into that psoas, that hip flexor, and they're doing some crazy things here.
That actually hurts my back.
And it's hurting his low back. So what's happening here is although we're trying to get that hip stretch, he's getting his back to work at the same time. And the low back is ultimately already overactive. That's the reason why we have some of these findings that we're finding, like degenerative disc disease. So the way he's doing this here is what we really want to start with before we move is a right glute squeeze. So squeeze that glute. We're already going to feel a hip stretch in that. If you don't, we can find it a little bit more by pretending that there's a paintbrush on the front of that hip and there's a wall in front of you. You want to make a dot on that wall with the paintbrush. Drive the paintbrush to the wall.
The paintbrush is that way, not this way?
Exactly.
Okay. Straight
forward. Drive it to the wall and then come out of it. We're not going to hold the stretch. I mean, we can maybe a little bit at the end for a breath and then come out of it here, but we're going to do these little pulses, 10 to 20 reps into and out of it, keeping it out of the low back. If you still feel a little low back in this one, I actually would say maybe bring your elbow to your knee. You could probably lean forward just slightly to take that out and still feel a nice hip stretch in this one. Shouldn't be going down into the knee or anything crazy. Should just feel right in the front there.
Yeah, I feel a bunch right in the front right here.
Awesome. So ultimately what we're looking for when we're doing these types of exercises, or why we would even do a hip stretch in general for degenerative disc disease, is because, like we said, the back is already overactive. We don't need to do more back exercises to try to figure out if that's going to be what's right for you or to strengthen the back at all. Degenerative disc disease comes from too much movement in the spine already, so let's get somewhere else to move a little bit better. We usually go above and below for that, so we started below today with a nice hip movement.
Yeah, it was actually pretty surprising when I did the backwards one. I didn't know my back was going to hurt. It actually hurt. I'd probably be told I have degenerative
that for the video
disc
today.
disease. Geez, I better do some more of those.
There you go.
So the second exercise we can try is to shift some of the extension requirements of the back into the upper back or the mid back. First we did it in the hip, and then I did it poorly and I threw it into the back. Extension I didn't like it, and then we're going to move it a little bit above. So Don, why don't you show the low kneeling mid back stretch that we do here. Good. And why don't you actually come backwards just a little bit. That's not back, sorry, that's towards me. There you go, right there, perfect. All right, so go ahead and sit your hips back towards the wall behind you and go ahead and return. Perfect. So just keep doing that. I'm going to give some fine touch points in the video. And actually, do come back to me a little bit. This no videographer is a little bit of a thing. So notice that Dawn has her elbows generously towards each other. Show them a bad position, Dawn. When they kind of flop their elbows out like that and bring them closer together. Typically, just keeping the elbows closer together actually elicits a little bit more of the mid-back to extend without really having to do too much movement already. And by the movement of her pushing backwards, it helps to emphasize that a little bit more. the lats as they come through here start to emphasize a little bit more through this lat fascia right here. And you actually get a little bit of decompression in the back too. Dawn, where do you feel most of this stretching?
Right in between my shoulder blades.
Right up into here? You might actually feel your lat and your triceps too. That's all completely normal. Can you show them a bad way with the low back? Let's see if it hurts you too. So she's trying to put a little bit of a low back arch in there preemptively before she moves back. So I'm sure you're thinking a little bit more of, I'm going to arch my back versus sit back, right? Yeah. So this is the way we like doing this. Usually about 20 to 30 reps is enough. Sometimes you got to readjust the elbows a little bit more so and go back to a starting position because sometimes the elbows slide a little bit. But typically doing that, like afterwards you get up, move around, you're like, oh wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty insane sometimes how when we have pain in certain areas like the low back, when we just shift the load somewhere else, how much that really truly improves what's going on. Even if this is just temporary relief for you right now, if we did it a little bit more often and our brain and body got to train that a little bit more, it's easier for us to find those areas throughout the day when we go through movements, walking, sitting, all kinds of things like that.
Yeah, and sometimes a really nice way to manage pain such as this, like a periodic stretch throughout the day, is a lot better than taking over-the-counter medications and all the extreme stuff that you might be subjected to. Like just doing a little bit of stretching is a really easy way to modify pain. It's essentially pain management, right?
Absolutely.
If that helped you guys, you should just work with us. I mean it. Work with us. We'd love to show you some of the more advanced exercises that there are that we have. We just don't do them all on YouTube. And quite honestly, it's based upon what you present like, not just how we're generally guessing. Also, too, if you're not convinced that we can actually help you, we have a webinar available as well. It's over, I think, this shoulder. I think it's over my left shoulder most of the time up into there. And so it'll pop up. And it's basically a little bit more information about how, information about your low back, about ways we can shift load, some types of diagnosis, and so on. Our idea is that we're going to curate all the content that is all throughout Dr. Google and even the old stuff and throw it out, and we're going to consolidate it down into one simple 20-minute webinar where you can get everything that you need. And at that point, if you want to work with us, great. If not, you can work with somebody else. But they can see us virtually, right, Dawn?
Yeah, virtually or in person. So if you guys aren't anywhere near us, feel free to just reach out and we can set something up virtually. We can consult, talk about some worries, talk about what's going on and what you're looking for, or we can actually just get started on what's right for you and individualize a program as well.
Yeah, I know that some people have been talking to you on consult, right?
Yeah, consultations are there for you. They just want to know if we're the right fit first before they spend any money. So yeah, feel free to reach out and do a consultation. We'll talk about what's going on and if we're the right fit, and if so, we'll guide you in the right direction. Subscribe
to the channel, like the video. We have on our channel a bunch of videos, as we mentioned before. There's a search function at the top. Just put in degenerative disc or whatever else you're looking for. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, and they're all free on YouTube here. So we'll see you guys next time.